What's going on, fam? Alex Schlinsky here for the Get More Clients Show. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, joined by my co-host, Brian Downard. How you doing, buddy?
Living the dream.
Hey, yo. Today in our guest series, we have a very special guest. Is this our first woman guest that's not a client, Brian?
Probably.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got the McMaster herself, Taylor McMaster, here from Dot&Co. Taylor, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you both for having me.
Yeah, super excited to have you. Yesterday, we had Taylor join our private community and prospecting on demand and shared some secrets of account management. Dot&Co is a really unique company that does something very special in this space, which is helping agency owners just like you not have to deal with the headache of account management, which is a really challenging thing. If you recall, Brian and I bring this up all the time on the Get More Client Show. Our show is the Get More Client Show, but we wish we could name it the Keep More Client Show, because if you retained more clients, it would be actually more successful, because if you get more clients and then lose them, what ends up happening? Yeah, well, you kind of stay at the same revenue numbers, or unfortunately you go down and negative. So what they do metaphorically is help you fill the bucket, clean up the bucket, no holes in your bucket. You can just keep bringing on clients and they'll keep account managing them for them. Taylor, let's dive into this. Let's start off with the idea of Dot. How did this company start?
Yeah, I love this question. So I had my own digital marketing agency. Like a lot of people, left the corporate world, wanted to do my own thing, wanted the time freedom, wanted the no boss, live my life on a laptop. And if you own an agency, you know that that's not always the case. So started running Facebook ads, building landing pages, the whole gamut, doing everything marketing for my clients. But that meant I was also doing all of the things. So all the back end, all the sales calls, the accounting, the finance, client management, project management, client meetings, everything. And what I realized was when I was running this agency that I really didn't want to do all of the things, and I wasn't good at doing all the things. What I was actually strong at was project management, speaking to clients on the phone and making them feel loved and making them feel like they're the only client. That was what I've always been good at. But what I wasn't as strong at is the analytics side, in the back end of Facebook, running Facebook ads, doing strategy, that kind of stuff in the back end. And inside the agency world, I was connected with a lot of other successful agency owners as well. And when we were kind of chatting, and I was saying, this is what I actually want to focus on. I want to move towards this focus in my agency. They were all like, why would you do that? Like, that's the part of my business I can't stand doing that. Why would you want to do that? And that's when it clicked for me that maybe this is kind of my zone of genius. And maybe this is how I can help other agency owners in a way that's going to let them get out of the mundane tasks and day-to-day operations of their agency. And I can come in and just manage their clients and do what I love naturally. And so after that, it just kind of took off, and I was doing what I wanted to be doing and serving agencies and helping them scale up. So it's been kind of a crazy few years of figuring out this model and how we can really help agencies. But yeah, it's been lots of fun, and we're just getting started. Yeah.
When did Dot start?
About 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So I have a kind of a unique question. I don't know if you expected it, but it's an interesting angle. Like, we're in part of the same market, right? But we run a coaching program. I wouldn't say it's saturated, but there's certainly many coaching program offers, right? And there's many different deliverables in those offers, whether it's a course deliverable, a done for you component for recruiting or prospecting or sales, and then obviously done with you mentorship, which is kind of where we fall in line. It's pretty rare, I think, in these days to find a offer that's very, very unique. Like I said, I don't think there is another Dot offer. When you identified this, kind of like you were mentioning, like, wait, we can offer done for you project management that no one else in the space is offering. Instead of just coaching it, we can actually do it for you. What was kind of like the light bulb moment for you? Did you believe that, oh, like, I'm going to start this new trend? Or did you maybe think maybe it wouldn't work? Like, what was the, in retrospect, opinion 3 years ago? Like, oh, I found my golden gem. Like, what was that for you?
Yeah, I think when I started, I didn't really realize that I was going to grow an agency. But I realized that there was a need for the market. And I think in any successful business, if you can find something that actually moves the needle for another business or another person, you've kind of found your little golden nugget. And for me, I was spinning my wheels for a while, like just not happy with, running all the pieces of my agency, that this is what I really wanted to do. And I was just so laser focused that I wanted to just do this all day, every day, and just manage clients. So it naturally just kind of progressed. And as more people found out what I was doing, they were reaching out. And I had to take the plunge to either keep doing it myself and keep client managing the 3 agencies I was working with, or to grow and scale my team. And so I kind of was at that crossroads of like, okay, Taylor, you have to pick what you want to do and what's going to make you happy. And I decided to grow the team and grow this team that we have now and that we're continuing to grow. But it still wasn't really like, this is my thing that I found and figured out. There's a need and we're really helping agencies. So it just kind of grew naturally, which was fun.
Look at
Unmuted. I'm gonna
Brian
pretend like
not
I know
knowing
how
how
to
to
use
unmute
Zoom.
himself.
I was saying that's amazing. I love when you can kind of stumble onto these needs, and I think so many agency owners, regardless of the service, they focus a lot on revenue generation, client acquisition versus client retention, which is what you focus on. And I don't know the exact stat, but it's something like 5 to 8 times more expensive to acquire a customer than it is to actually keep them. So if you are in I just need to get more clients to make up for the ones that are leaving, I would challenge you, anyone here watching live or the replay, don't wait that long to do it. Focus on actually getting them the results, keeping them, and doing some of this. So that leads me to my question, sort of a statement, then a question. When I first started my agency, I didn't know when or why or even how I should be looking for and hiring a project manager. For Dot&Co and everyone watching, fortunately, they have the how. But at what stage in an agency's business should they be considering this, looking to it? When are you seeing people start to really stall out on their own and need this kind of help?
Good question. So most of the agencies that I recommend to hire an account manager is you have to have the monthly recurring revenue and you have to have the clients already. I don't recommend hiring a client account manager before you have clients. I've seen it happen and it just kind of stalls your growth, whether it's mindset, momentum. So make sure you do have enough monthly recurring revenue to hire someone. And secondly, make sure that you are confident in your business and that you are confident that you can actually step away, because there's no point in hiring someone if you're just going to be hovering over them and micromanaging. You need to be ready yourself to actually pass this off to someone who's an expert. Now, like you said, it's really hard to find really strong candidates. So it's a lot of work and it can take, a good amount of time, even if you're working with someone like us, to actually get someone into your business to be comfortable with your systems, to understand your agency. So make sure that if you are planning to bring someone in, bring them in at a point where you have like 1 to 3 months leeway pre-scale so that they get used to the business model and they have their feet wet inside of your business.
No, I appreciate that. That's a really good question. And I agree. We have some clients who make a good amount of money, but they've sort of hustled their way there by doing a lot of things that aren't as scalable and investing too much into the team too soon. And I see a lot when you have a team or even an individual, when it's a team is 2 people and you have them doing too much, again, it stops your ability to scale versus just getting really damn good at one thing and having repeatable systems. So I love, thank you, by the way, for that. And this kind of leads me to my next question. What does someone need to have before they consider, I know in terms of revenue, we talked about that, but in terms of internal systems, processes, SOPs, et cetera, anything you recommend agency owners compile before they go seek out a project manager?
Yeah. Another great question. So
Hey, thank you.
definitely like understanding your service offering. So if you are running Facebook ads to chiropractors, or maybe you're doing Facebook ads for just lead gen in general, really understand and map out what your service offering is so that when you're bringing someone into your business, they can speak to that and they understand who you are as an agency. So be clear on what your offer is. And a lot of agency owners will say to us, like, oh, I don't have my systems perfected yet, or everything's a mess, or it's not organized. That's okay. And I never expect an agency owner to be type A organized like we are, because that's why you hire us. So we come equipped with like systems and processes, or, you can just use our systems and processes in your agency if you're not hiring us, to just get set up so that you have report structures, you have SOPs, you have workflows, onboarding, offboarding, everything set up. It doesn't have to be ahead of hiring an account manager, but it has to be something that you're proactively working on together, or else things can fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kind of, I know Alex, you've got something too, but I'm just going to go back and reiterate something you said, like the idea of getting really clear on your offer. And it sounds like such a basic concept. And when you say it out loud, it makes sense, but it's still shocking how many agencies I see just kind of do anything. They're like almost a grocery store instead of a restaurant. They're just like, whatever you want. You want that? I go, yeah, sure. Instead of like, here's what we have. We'll prepare it on the back end. Don't worry, we're going to give it to you. Right. So there's just, everyone listening, you have to be really damn good at one offer, one niche before you can go too far. Sure, you can hustle your way to higher income levels, even $1 million run rate by serving a bunch of different people, but it handicaps your ability to scale. So I appreciate that. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I love this. This is a great podcast so far. I appreciate your time, Taylor, and your insight here. I want to get into the nitty gritty about account management and some of like the best tips you can give, but I like to go on a different angle with a question that is pretty weird, but I think is fun. You know, one thing that Brian and I have a lot of insight into is because we've worked with so many agencies, we've seen a lot of very odd things. I would just love to know, in your experience, what is just the strangest model that you've seen of account management before you came in, where you just came in and secretly behind, the client's back, nothing bad about the client, but oh my God, did you see client X's system? That is insane. What's the worst that you've seen?
Oh man. I've seen some agencies work everything into Slack, and I don't love that. Like no project management system, no SOPs. So that's when it's kind of messy, but that's where we can help. Like we can figure that out together. Um, Another would be we've had agencies bring us in before they even have clients, before they even have a business.
Mm.
And that was kind of hairy because they just didn't have anything for us to do. So it was almost like they were setting up their team before they were growing. And that's why I always say it's not a good idea, because it stunts your growth and it kind of screws up with your mindset in terms of growth. But yeah, like honestly, there hasn't been anything too crazy. We've had a client that just they weren't getting results for the client. So that's always tricky. But yeah, no, like we haven't seen anything too crazy.
So what would you say is the number one mistake most agencies make in terms of account management?
Not being proactive.
Being
Poor communication. Hiding in the background and just like hoping that the client relationship is okay. That is like a main thing that is really important in the agency world. We're working remotely. Clients are paying you a lot of money. You need to give them the service that they deserve. So that is definitely the biggest red flag.
We see a lot of people worried about like proactive communication, overdoing it, coming off maybe a little bit too strong. How do you end up finding the balance? What do you recommend?
It's all in your approach. If you are giving what we call daily pulses, which is just a quick snapshot communication to the client and just making sure that you're actually just there. So sometimes it's a report, sometimes it's a, hey, we're not there yet, here's what's next. I would rather over communicate than under communicate. So that's always my rule of thumb. If clients are being annoyed by you, they'll tell you, or you can ask. But I've never had clients say like, you're over communicating with me. So.
Yeah, and yesterday you brought up something on our workshop with our clients. Again, thank you for doing that. That you called the daily pulse. And to me, it was a little bit scary of an idea to like communicate with a client every single day. And you said it was not really to do it daily. It's sort of a prompt. Do you want to maybe break down what the daily pulse is? I think it fits into what we're talking about right now well.
Yeah, for sure. So something that we've coined at Dot is, again, the daily pulse. And this came from that proactive communication style. So I have been training client account managers for years. And something that we always preach at Dot and Company is, how do your clients feel? And how are you making your clients feel? Whether it is that you have their back, they feel like they're your only client, they feel like they can be best friends with you and they can ask for things. I don't know how many times I've worked with people in the marketing space where they sound too busy for me. They're like, oh, I don't have time for that. Or I'm really booked this week. I'm sorry, I can't fit that in for you. And I never want clients to feel like that. I want them to feel like we are their partners in marketing. We are there. We want their business to be successful. And if you really want your clients to be successful, you have to talk to them. And so that's why we coined this term, the daily pulse. And it's more so a proactive reminder for the team to, hey, when was the last time you checked in with this client? Like send them a quick pulse. Maybe it's And of course, like as your relationship grows with the clients, it doesn't have to be every day. But if you're onboarding a new client, they want to hear from you every day,
Right.
right? They've just dropped a bunch of money with your agency and they've probably been burned in the past. And they want to know that you're going to do a great job. And if the results aren't as good as they could be on their ads or whatever, if you have that track record of actually communicating with them, they're going to just feel better about the relationship and there's not going to be as many fires to put out. So it's more so a reminder to be proactive than it is a daily specific email.
Interesting. Is
Got
it
it.
a script format? Is it a just prompting? Like, how do you end up going about your model?
Yeah, so at Dot, we have certain scripts that we use for our team so that they have things to go off of if they don't have something to update the client on.
Right.
So we've put together email templates and things like that. But it could just be a, hey, Bob, hope you're having a great day. Just wanted to send you a quick update that I'm expecting your ads to be ready for your approval tomorrow. Any questions, let me know.
Hmm.
He can read that and ignore it. That's fine. It happens.
It definitely
Um,
does.
yeah, but we just have kind of templates, but it can be just like little pulses. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for that. I got a more challenging question, might be more, esoteric than specific or tangible. So bear with me for a second here. I see a lot of times when agencies aren't producing a result that they know they should be for their client. Let's just say a lot of people do lead gen, for example. I'm not getting the amount of leads that makes my client happy. We tend to, as agency owners, overcompensate and start doing other things for that client that they ask for that don't fall within the terms of the service. It's out of scope, but we do it. We overcompensate, pour more time in, but they still don't get the result they want and end up firing you anyway. So you poured more time in trying to over deliver, overcompensate, but you're not getting the result in the first place. I guess the question is, how do you draw a balance between the idea of over delivering, like client gifting, daily check-ins, or the daily pulse, like without overcompensating and crippling your team's ability to execute for all your clients?
So, of course, I always say you should only be bringing on clients who you believe to get that you can get results for. That's
Mhm.
obviously the first thing. And
Great advice.
second, if you are launching a client in this the first 6 weeks, for example, and you're not getting the results that you're looking for, you need to be straight up with your clients. You need to be proactively communicating with them, showing them what's working, what's not working. If you need new creative, get it quick. Don't wait 6 weeks. If you need new copy, do it quicker, doing things and showing them that you're actually proactive. You're not waiting 6 weeks and saying, oops, it didn't work. So as a client account manager or the media buyer or the strategist, you should be in their accounts every day, checking how are things going? What could we be fixing? And showing the client that you're actually really working for their business, because that at the end of the day is the most important thing. I think the things that come in like the daily pulses, that's not even really extra. That's just your job as a client account manager.
Mhm.
The gifts and things like that, that is extra. So maybe it's a welcome basket. Maybe it's a, they signed their 3-month contract again. Thank you. It's maybe a, hey, like, sorry, we didn't get to meet for coffee. I would have loved to have you take you out for a coffee. Like, here's $10 Starbucks card on me. Little things like that are extra. But I think your job as the agency, whether it's your client account manager, your project manager, whoever, is to be proactively communicating with your clients and working your butt off to get the results that you want to get for them. And we're agency owners. At the end of the day, if it's not working for the client, you don't want them to keep, spinning the wheels, and it's frustrating for you too. So if you really believe something's not going to work and you have to part ways, you should have an SOP in place, an offboarding checklist, so
Yep.
that that relationship is still strong. They might come back, they might refer someone to you, they might still speak kindly to other people about your business because you've ended your relationship on a good term.
Mm.
Yes, I love that. That's the goal for sure. It's so funny, and this isn't a question, just a little side story, an embarrassing story of like when I was a young agency owner, how much I tried to avoid some of my clients. Like I would hope that they would just keep paying me every month and wouldn't notice, and like because I think it's working. Like they got to get. They're so. I saw some leads come through. Did they make money? I don't want to ask because I'm gonna get. So it's embarrassing, right? But I think one of the things that I shared recently online was this idea that if you want to, and this isn't my concept, but if you want your business and life in general to be easier, you need to do the things that are difficult. And if you do the things that are easy, your business is going to be difficult, right? It's easy to avoid your clients, not easy to have a hard conversation and acknowledge when things aren't working. That'll get you to the next level. So I appreciate that. Alex, anything else you have for today?
Yeah, absolutely. Before we wrap, I got two more questions for you, and I think these are really valuable ones as we come to a close here for Dot&Co.
Like rapid fire question for Taylor today.
I love it.
So here's the one that I want to ask. What do you envision for Dot in the future? What are you trying to accomplish with this company?
Yeah, great question. For me, it's a huge piece of the Dot culture. I know you're both wearing culture shirts, but that's so important in a remote world. You know, my background came from corporate, and I didn't love the mint green cubicle 9 to 5 life, and most of you listening don't either. And so for me, I've always wanted to grow a team and give them the opportunity to feel like I feel when I'm working every day and I'm, helping agency owners and helping small businesses. I grew up with a family business. I saw the hustle. I saw the everyday struggles and losses and wins and just that whole family side of the business, that I kind of bring that into the agencies that I work inside. They're small businesses too. This is how they're feeding their kids. This is how they're paying their mortgage. I love actually helping the agency owners. That's really, really fun too. So definitely vision is like a big team all across the world. I'd love to do like client account manager retreats somewhere warm and tropical and get together and talk all about clients because we actually love it.
Awesome.
And then of course our training side, we love training client account managers and our methods. It makes such a huge difference inside the agency. So that's a huge component of our business now, is actually training account managers inside of agencies to make their work better. So yeah, I just feel like this is just the beginning and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Love it. I know we haven't known you for super long. I think we only met a couple of weeks ago, but every time I speak to you or hear from you, it always feels like you're speaking from such a place of abundance and fulfillment and happiness instead of kind of phoning it in, which sometimes happens when we're doing podcasts or doing these types of things. So I just want to let you know how much that's appreciated, and how excited we are for you as agency owners ourselves and business owners ourselves. Having that type of excitement and fulfillment is super gratifying. And it's exciting to hear it from someone else. So I love that.
Thank you.
I want to end with this. Absolutely. I want to end with this, which is going to be related to Dot's essentially sales pitch, right? So I get the sense of two major things, right? I get the sense of, we're going to save you lots of time and we're going to help you retain your clients. Am I landing? Am I missing? What do you think is the sales pitch of Dot? Why should someone that's listening to this podcast right now stop listening after they leave a rating and subscribe? Obviously,
we got the question. Say, hey, the deeper you go with the question, the more choppy it gets. We got choppy. It's like a second delayed. We'll blame it on your new house.
I'm going to blame it on a new house. That's a bummer.
It's good now. It's good. It was just funny. The longer you started to go into the question, the more choppy it got.
Oh man!
Just end the question.
I'll redo it.
I thought it was me. I'll
redo it one more time. If it gets choppy, Brian, you can take it.
Do it in half of the amount of time.
Yeah. So what is the sales pitch for Dot&Co? What are you providing to the client that's watching this right now that says, hey, I need to work with Dot?
Yeah. The biggest thing that I find for agency owners is everything's so personal. And I know for me, when running my agency, everything feels personal. It's your clients, it's your team, it's everything. So if there's a client that's upset about something and you have to absorb that, that's really hard. And that can actually steer you in a really weird direction in terms of mindset. So if you have someone, and I think Emma said it yesterday perfectly in the call, but having like a waitress and then the kitchen. So we're almost like the waitress to take your feedback. If you have, if you don't like your food, if your food was cold, if it was gross, and then I'm going to take that, absorb it, and give feedback to the kitchen. So it's very similar inside an agency. You should not be dealing with clients face-to-face on a day-to-day basis. If you are the agency owner, you need to be the agency owner. And in order to scale your business, if that's your goal, you need to have a team. And maybe that's part-time, maybe that's full-time, but you need a team who you trust, who have the systems, the training, the processes to execute on your behalf. And I see a lot of agency owners out there that they have this vision and they have this dream of getting out of the day-to-day and working on the beach and whatever, But the only way to get there is to get out of the day-to-day. And I've even done that in my business. I have team members who manage everything inside the business, so that I don't have to be inside of all the client communication and team communication every day. And I think that that's super important if your goal is to scale.
Outstanding. Brian, bring us home, my man.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Taylor. Really appreciate your time, not only today and tomorrow. And I know the POD community shares the same sentiment. Very valuable. So thank you again. Everyone, if you want to go check out Dot&Co, I believe it's dotandcompany.co, correct? Is the website. Awesome. We will tag Taylor if she's not already tagged in this post, and go connect online. It's funny how small the marketing world is, Taylor. You and I were already friends yesterday when I went to go look on Facebook. We've been connected for who knows how long, but you might already be connected to her. We highly recommend Dot&Co. We're going to be recommending more of our clients to Dot&Co because of the immense value they bring to this industry. So please go check out their website. Thank you so much, POD fam and community, for watching today. This has been episode number 26. As always, if you want to check out some of the clips of this show, rewatch it, check out the replay, just all the platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on the podcast things. We do clips on our Facebook platform. You know how the internet works. Go to those places, subscribe. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you next week for episode 27.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Taylor.